What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Do me a big favor, guys. Get yourself down to the description box. I got a couple things down there I want you to check out. The first thing I want you to check out is that Moo link. The good folks at Moo got an incredible offer for you guys if you decide to open up a new Moo brokerage account and make some qualifying deposits. They got a nice little Christmas gift for you. Let me run you through it now. First thing, Moo is offering up to $1,100 in stock/cash rewards. Let me give you the breakdown. If you put $1,000 in your new Moo brokerage account, Moo is going to give you $120 cash reward. If you decide to make additional deposits, they will give you up to $1,000 in NVIDIA stock shares. That's $1,100, man, in goodies. Nice little Christmas gift for somebody if you decide to open up a new Moo brokerage account. First link in the description box. I've been using the Moo brokerage account, brokerage app, brokerage platform since 2024, and I'm happy with it. I get to make fractional share trades. I can make whole share trades. They have a full library of financial information to help you become a better investor. Now, it is self-directed. That means they don't provide any financial advice, nor do I. I'm not a financial advisor, and Moo is not a financial advisor. What they do is they provide you a platform where you can come on and buy investments and sell investments. But they do have a library that you can do self-study. There is nobody there to tell you what to do. You got to do your own self-study, but you got the library right there, and it's a pretty complete library. It'll teach you whatever, it'll give you the information so you can teach yourself whatever you want to learn about investing. So first link down in the description box, up to $1,100 in cash reward and NVIDIA stock shares. I don't know where else you can go get that type of offer right now. Hey man, don't delay, act today. Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Second link is going to be the Wealth Builders Financial Community on Patreon. That's the community I started back in 2024 to bring like-minded people together who wanted to do long-term investing to build wealth and get to passive income. That's what we do in that community. We got a couple thousand members in there, people that are just dialed in to help each other get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If you're a person out there, guys, who's struggling to figure this thing out, come see us. We're not experts. I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who's been, doing this thing for 30 years on his own. Made a lot of mistakes, but I made a lot of right decisions. That's why I get to live the lifestyle I live. I get to buy whatever I want to buy. I get to go wherever I want to go. I get to live wherever I want to live. I own 100% of my time. That means from the second I wake up in the morning to the second I go to bed at night, 24 hours a day, I control my time. I don't have to go to work. I'm not saying you won't have to go to work, but what I am telling you is if there ever is a time where you say to yourself, goodness gracious, I don't want to work for the rest of my life. Guess what? You will, unless you got assets that generate income to take care of you. You got to have assets. And that's what we talk about in the Wealth Builders, how to get those assets. We're going to talk about today the Federal Reserve and how they are going to change the lives of millions of people who execute, who get in position, who get their mindset right. Millions of people will take advantage of what the Federal Reserve is about to do today and next year, 2026. So stay tuned for that. But please go down and check out those two links, guys. Treat yourself, Don't cheat yourself. All right, let's get started. Oh, by the way, the Patreon, second link, that's the Wealth Builders. Click on the Patreon link, second link. It'll take you over to Patreon. Sign yourself up, guys, and then send me a DM to let me know you're rocking with me. And let's go to work. We got work to do. We got to prepare for 2026 because I believe personally it's going to be a monster. Just like I told y'all 25 would be a monster. Just like I told you 24 would be a monster. Just like I told you 23 would be a monster. I'm no expert, guys. I just follow the 1%. So let me make that clear. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube sharing his opinion. I have a First Amendment right. We have this thing in this country called the Constitution. And I know some of us are saying, what Constitution? We got people doing whatever they want to do now. Where's the we do got one. They just ain't following it, right? They're just not following it. But we do have a Constitution. And one of the things in that Constitution is what they call freedom of speech. I think it's the First Amendment. I have a First Amendment right to give you all my opinion here on this YouTube channel. I'm not trying to tell you to go buy no investments. I'm not trying to tell you nothing at all about your financial situation. I have a First Amendment right to share with you my opinion about my financial situation and my opinion about research that I've done. But I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on YouTube exercising his First Amendment right. Freedom of speech. All right, let's go. Let's dive into why I believe the Federal Reserve is finna change millions of people's lives in 2025 and 2026. We already know today's the day. Today is rate cut day. See, the Federal Reserve started their two-day meeting yesterday on, what was that? Tuesday, December 9th. They're concluding that meeting today, Wednesday, December 10th. And at 2 p.m. Eastern time today, they're going to make a decision on interest rates, AKA Fed funds rate. Now, what is that rate? That's a short-term borrowing rate. See, banks use the Fed fund rate to borrow money between each other. It's called the Fed funds rate. Banks borrow money from each other. Banks borrow money from the Federal Reserve. Yeah, it's the Fed funds rate, right? Now, that's not the interest rate you borrow money, though. See, when banks borrow money at the Fed funds rate, let's say the Fed funds rate is 3%. So a bank will borrow money from each other at 3%, but that's not what you get it at. You get it at what they call the prime rate. So you got the Fed funds rate, banks borrow money from each other, and then they charge you what they call the prime rate, which is 300 basis points or 3% higher than the Fed funds rate. So when you go to your local bank and you say, hey, I want to take out an equity line on my home, the bank will say, okay, Richard, great. Let's pull your credit. Let's check your income to make sure you can afford it. Let's do an appraisal on your house to make sure there's equity there. But here's the rate we're going to charge you. We're going to charge you prime plus 0, prime plus 1, prime plus 2, all the way up to prime plus whatever they want to charge you. That's where your rate is. Your rate is the prime rate. So it's the Fed funds rate plus 300 basis points and plus whatever else the bank wants to charge on top of that. But what's happening today is the Fed getting ready to lower that rate, that Fed funds rate, which will lower your prime rate, which will lower your automobile loan rates, and eventually will lower your mortgage rates. But more importantly, it will lower your credit card rates. Because we already know in America, we got $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. We lead the world with an average interest rate of around 22.5%, guys. You do the math on that one. Take $1.3 trillion and do the math on 22.5% interest. Yeah, credit card companies is just killing us. They get filthy, filthy rich, the credit card companies. Yes, sir. That's why if you go look at Visa, you go look at MasterCard's stock price, up, up, up. Why? They're killing us. They're killing y'all because I ain't got no credit card debt. See, I don't got no credit card debt. I don't carry no credit card debt. Why don't I carry credit card debt? Because I got in position. I'm a logical thinker. I follow the 1%. I earn my money and I put it in things that appreciate in value. I don't take my money and put it in something that depreciates in value. That's the difference. That's what I'm here sharing with you on this YouTube channel, is how I was able to do that. But the Fed getting ready to lower rates. And if you're smart now, you get yourself in position right now, because this is just a precursor today. It's a precursor to what's coming. See, when someone says precursor, they mean this is a little snapshot of the future. That's what it means. Precursor means a little snapshot, a little bitty snapshot of what you can expect in the future. That's a precursor. See, today is a precursor at 2 p.m. Eastern time. It's a precursor, guys. What is it a precursor to, Richard? What's to come? See, now if I pay attention and I turn off the emotional side of my brain and I turn on the logical side of my brain, I will understand what precursor means. And if I understand that, I get in position. Richard, what's get in position? Get in position means you got to be ready for wealth. You got to get your mind right and your pockets right for wealth. Wealth is not going to knock on your door and say, hey, Richard, listen, man, hey, I want to introduce myself. My name is Wealth. Let's sit down and talk. Let me run you through this wealth thing. Let me walk you through. No. That's not how wealth works. Wealth is not going to knock on your door and hand you a check. No one's going to do that, guys. Wealth is not going to, I'm walking down the street and I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to visualize wealth. That's not going to work. It's not going to fall out the sky and hit you on top of the head. You're going to have to earn and develop some disciplines. When you earn that money, guess what you're going to have to do with it? Keep it. And then what you're going to have to do with it? Multiply it. How do I keep it? Stop buying stuff that don't put money in your pocket. Stop buying this silly stuff out here to make other people rich and wealthy. That's how. Oh, I got to go to the barber to get my hair cut every week. Why would you have to do that? Cut it yourself. Why do you got to go to the barber shop and spend, $50, $75 a week on a haircut? Why would you have to do that? You don't have to do that. That's a want. That's not a need. Oh, I got to eat. Well, yeah, I got to eat too, but that doesn't mean I got to go out and spend $300 or $400 a month on takeout and sitting down at restaurants and making somebody else wealthy. Guess what? The person that owns that fast food chain, they're wealthy. The person that owns that restaurant, they own their own business. So they have a level of wealth as well inside of their business. They may not have it in their bank account, but they have it inside of their business. What do you got? You wake up every day and you go to work for somebody. You do a job that you don't like. And you spend 50 to 60 hours a week doing that. Something that you do not like. And guess what? They really don't appreciate you either. Just an FYI. Guys, I worked in banking for 25 years. They didn't appreciate me. They paid me because why? I understood that if I didn't do this job and do it right, I wouldn't get paid. So I was motivated to do it. But I was also motivated to get out of there. So 6 years ago, I got out of there and started my own thing. When you going to start your own thing? The Federal Reserve right now is getting ready to put you in a position to start your own thing. But if you don't get in position, you're going to miss it. Well, what do you mean? The Trump organization, I got to focus on Trump and his people. You go ahead and focus on President Trump. President Trump rich. He wealthy. He don't even know what the word grocery means. You know that dude wealthy. When you got somebody that come out here and say, grocery? That's an old-fashioned word. Grocery is an old-fashioned. Dude, grocery is a word poor people use every day. Poor people and middle-class people know what grocery means. President Trump don't even know what grocery mean, man. This man don't even know what groceries are. This man ain't never been to the grocery store. He's wealthy. And I'm not knocking him for that wealth. I appreciate him. Good luck. Good for you, President Trump. You're rich. You're wealthy. He don't even know what the word grocery store means. You know, when somebody don't know what the word grocery store means, that means from a little teeny person to where he is now, almost an 80-year-old man, he's never been to the grocery store. From birth to 80 years old, President Trump do not know what grocery store is. And that's not a knock on him. That means he has privilege. He has wealth. He has other people go to the grocery store for him. He don't need to. See, I want to have other people go to the grocery store for me too. But if I don't wake up and smell the coffee, I'm going to go to the grocery store for myself for the rest of my life. And guess what I'm going to be in there doing? Ooh, bananas. Oh, my goodness, these bananas went up 50 cents. Oh, my goodness, these eggs went up $1. Oh, my goodness, this carton of milk went up $1. That's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Every time I walk in the grocery store, it's going to be an unpleasant experience because I don't have any wealth. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. High interest rate credit card debt, high interest rate car loan debt, student loan debt. Right now, we're at the highest level of student loan default in many years. Right now, because guess what President Trump did? President Trump got back in office, and guess what he did? He turned back on the interest on all that credit card debt. See, when Biden was in office, Biden turned off the interest. They turned the interest off during the pandemic, and Biden just left it off. Biden was trying to give all y'all no student loan debt. He was trying to wipe it out. They wouldn't let him. They would not let Biden wipe out that credit card debt. Why? Why won't they let Biden wipe out that credit card debt, guys? Because it's a big business. See, student loan debt is a big business. These major universities, they make a killing. Guess what? There are companies out there, the federal government makes a killing on these federal loans. And then you got these private loan individuals out there or companies that do private loans for these universities. You think the universities don't get kicked back on that? That's why you walk in there, guess who they tell you? Okay, here are your options. If they wanted to, they could make college free, like they did in the old days. But they'll never do that again. Why? Because it's a big business. And in this country, business trumps people. Big business trumps people. Capitalism trumps people. Now, you can sit over here on one end and complain about that, or you can say to yourself, okay, since this is capitalism around here and everybody trying to get their part of the apple pie, their piece of the apple pie, let me get mine. Let me get my piece of the apple pie. How do I do that? Get in position. Earn, keep what you earn, and then multiply. How do you multiply? A number of things. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice, but this is how I multiply my money that I earn. See, I don't take the money that I earn and go down here to the local mall and buy Michael Jordan tennis shoes and all this other crap. And then all of a sudden, oh, I ain't got no money left over at the end of the month, but I just went down there and bought a $200 pair of Jordans. I just went down there and bought me a nice little Louis Vuitton outfit that cost me $2,000. And then I get on Instagram and try to act like I'm rich. See, I don't do that. Y'all ain't never seen me with no Louis Vuitton clothes on. Now, do I got a couple little duffel bags and a little wallet, a little stuff like that? Yeah, I got that. But the assets paid for it. That's the difference. My paycheck didn't pay for it. The assets pay for it. See, I put my money in these assets, and over time, they increase in value. So every time I want something nice for myself, instead of taking the income, I go to the assets and I take a little frost off the top. I take a little frost. See, at the top of those assets, it's frosty. It's frosty because the higher it goes, the colder it gets. And it develops a little frost on those assets. See, the higher those assets go, the higher I go up, it gets a little bit cooler, a little bit chillier. Same thing on these assets. As they go up, they get a little bit of frost. What is froth? Appreciation. See, froth is appreciation. They get a little bit of capital appreciation every single year, every single day. Now, do they sometimes lose appreciation? Absolutely. That's what a dip is called. So when my assets go down in value, that's a dip. But instead of me panicking, what do? I go to the sideline, take my dry powder, and I buy more, because history tells me that dip won't last. History tells me a rip follows a dip. See, a rip follows a dip. So if you're in position when the Federal Reserve meets today and they cut these interest rates by 25 basis points, which I believe they will do, and here's why I'm saying that. Let me give you just a little bit of CNBC right here. The Fed meeting is likely to feature a rate cut and a lot more. This is coming from CNBC, Big Boy Cable News Network. Not me, this Big Boy Cable News Network. 89% chance that the Fed will cut rates today, 25 basis points. But that's just a precursor. See, the real thing coming, the blockbuster coming in 2026. This is just a precursor, guys. The blockbuster. You know how sometimes they got the trailer, right? You know, they got a Tom Cruise movie coming out, Mission Impossible. Or they got one of these Avenger movies coming out. You know how they do things, right? They got this blockbuster coming out. They got all the big boys in it. All the heavyweight actors in it. Denzel, Tom Cruise, Russell Crowe, all the Leonardo DiCaprio. What is his name? Leonardo DiCaprio. I think that's him. The guy that played in Titanic. That dude. Yeah, they got him in there too. And then, of course, you know, they got to bring the ladies in. You know, they got to bring the heavy hitters in. The Julia Roberts, the Meryl Streeps, what's my black lady name? She a top line, top level. What's her name? The black lady. I can't remember her name, but she the bomb. The bomb. I can't remember her name. Goodness gracious. Black lady though, but I can't remember her name. She is a monster. I mean, best of the best. See, they bring all them in and they create a blockbuster. But before the blockbuster comes out, they run a trailer. That's a precursor. They want to give you a little taste of what's to come. There's this trailer. They run this trailer. They're doing all kind of stuff. Depending upon what the theme of the movie is, right? They give you that little 2-minute, that little 90-second trailer. That's what the Fed doing today. They're giving you that 90-second trailer to the main blockbuster that's coming in 2026. Now, if you don't get yourself in position, once you see this precursor today, first of all, I'm in position before the precursor. Because I already know. I know what history says. No expert here, just exercising my First Amendment right, freedom of speech, for the algorithm. I'm just First Amendment right, freedom of speech. It's in the Constitution. I think it's the First Amendment. Now, back to what I was saying. So I'm in position even for the precursor. Because see, I know what the precursor is going to tell me. The precursor is telling me this thing finna be off the chain in 2026. Okay, why is this thing going to be off the chain in 2026? President Trump. I was listening to something President Trump said yesterday. Now, again, guys, I ain't got a dog in the fight. I don't care how you feel about the current administration. Doesn't really matter to me because I understand. Yeah, Viola Davis. That's it. Somebody just gave it to me. Viola Davis. That's my girl. That's my favorite female actress on the planet is Viola Davis. If she in that thing, you already know it's going to be off the chain. If Viola Davis in that thing, it's off the chain. You already know that, right? Just wanted to give y'all that. Okay, back to what I was saying. 2026. Why is it going to be a monster year, in my opinion? First Amendment right. Freedom of speech. Why is this thing going to be off the chain? Because y'all already know President Trump want them interest rates down. So guess what? So I'm listening to President Trump. He said, you know something, that that old President Biden used the auto pen on 4 of the FOMC voting members. He's talking about the Federal Reserve Board that votes on interest rate. It's a committee. It's a committee of people that vote on interest rates, short-term interest rates, AKA Fed funds rate. They will be voting today. Trump said 4 of them were appointed using the auto pen. What's the auto pen? I don't know what it is either, but I'm just giving y'all my little 2 cents. I think the auto pen is something where somebody else can sign on behalf of the president. Now, I could be wrong. You guys go on Google. I ain't got time to go to Google today to research that, but I think that's what that means. That means someone else can sign on the behalf of the president. But in order to do that, you got to go through legitimate guidelines. And the president can't be like incapacitated or something like that. Again, guys, don't hold that to fact. Go do your fact check. But I think that's what it is. So so Trump basically is saying that those people are invalid. It's invalid. He's saying that these 4 people on the FOMC committee, 4 of them are invalid, and he's going to try to remove them and put his own people there. Now, you already know Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, his term is up in May of 2026. He's gone. Now, could he still sit on the board and all this other stuff? Maybe. I don't know. But him as the Federal Reserve Chairman, those days are going to be over in May. And guess who get to appoint the new person? And I keep telling y'all this every day, and you know I tell y'all this every day because I would hope somebody out there can put 2 and 2 together, turn on the logical side of their brain and get in position. I'm trying to tell you this because I think there's an opportunity here for somebody to change their life using the Federal Reserve. But you got to get in position. So we already know President Trump on record in 2025 has been killing Jerome Powell all year. I mean, calling this man everything but a child of God. President Trump has called this guy everything but the child of God in public, not behind closed doors, in public. Anybody that will listen, Trump will call him everything but a child of God. I don't know how this guy I don't even know how he can stand what Trump give him. I mean, Trump come at him hard, man. Trump called this man everything, guys. I mean, everything. Now, having said that, Trump also went on record saying, I want rates down. I think rates should be 200 basis points lower. Guys, do you know what that's going to do to assets if Trump get his person in the Federal Reserve chair seat and he gets an additional 4 more people on the FOMC that are all 10,000% Trump loyalists? Just like he has right now. Everybody in President Trump's sphere, his cabinet, any of these other people, all of Congress, all of the Republicans in Congress. I don't even care if it's local government Republicans. They even, Trump tell them people to do something all the way down to the local level, they do it. How he did that, listen, man, 100 years from now, people are going to be breaking this scenario down and trying to figure it out because I ain't never seen anybody in my lifetime can alters people's mindset the way he does it. I've never seen anybody in my life. I'm 57 years old. I've never seen anybody could do what President Trump do with words. I mean, people just, they will forget what their values are and just adapt his. I've never seen it. But make a long story short, that's what's going to happen on the FOMC, in my opinion. Trump going to put his loyalists in there. He's going to have a loyalist as the chair. Then he's going to have these voting members. Some of these voting members, guys, that are currently right there are already Trump loyalists. They're just outnumbered. What do you think when the numbers go in Trump's favor on the voting committee and he has the chairman in place? What do you think is going to happen to interest rates? This is my opinion. They're going down. And what happens historically when interest rates come down, short-term interest rates? Assets go up. Well, how do you know that, Richard? Well, I'm no expert, but all you got to do is go back to 2020. Just go back to 2020 when the Federal Reserve took interest rates to 0. Please, guys. Y'all think I'm trying to sit up here and be some expert. I'm not. I'm just a guy that's not afraid to go out and do some critical thinking. I'm just a guy who's not afraid to just go out and do research instead of sitting up here watching people on podcasts and on YouTube videos and TikTok and Instagram, and that's where you get all your news from. And then you just adapt whatever they say as the truth, when a lot of times it's not the truth, it's propaganda. See, you can't tell the difference between the truth and propaganda. That's the problem with a lot of y'all. You can't tell the truth between propaganda and the truth. You think propaganda is the truth, when 99% of the time it's not. You do know somebody is paying this podcaster you're listening to. You do know somebody's paying that person, right? Somebody's paying me. Yeah, somebody pays me. Advertisers pay me. Not directly, but indirectly through YouTube. Advertisers run ads on these videos. YouTube give me a little cha-ching of it. YouTube take their piece, I get my piece. So somebody's paying me. The difference is nobody is paying me directly to mislead you. See, this is what you got to ask yourself, guys, when you listen to these podcasters, when you listen to these YouTubers, when you're listening to your favorite TikTok, when you listen to your favorite Instagram and your Twitter and your Facebook, what you need to be asking yourself is, are these people being directly paid by somebody to influence me one way or the other? Or are they just telling their truth and being compensated indirectly? See, no one's paying me to tell y'all anything. Indirectly, not directly they don't. But indirectly, I get paid through ad revenue from advertisers running ads on these videos. That's how I get paid. I also get paid through affiliate marketing, where a company might come to me and say, hey, Richard, try our brokerage app. And if you like it, share it with your audience. Right? I get paid because I know how to take money and multiply it through investments. I get paid that way as well. But no one is directly coming to me and saying, hey, check. I want you to tell these people this X, Y, and Z. You may not believe it's true, but tell them anyways because I want to pay you. Enrich yourself. Nobody does that to me. You need to be asking yourself, the people you're listening to right now, do they indirectly get paid for their content, or do they directly get paid by somebody for their content? Figure out the difference between the truth and propaganda. So President Trump, let's get back to these rates, and let's get back to this thing that's coming, this blockbuster, this once in a lifetime thing that's coming, in my opinion, First Amendment right, freedom of speech. Remember that. This is just a First Amendment right, freedom of speech, my opinion. I'm not an expert, so go do your own homework. Figure it out for yourself. But here's what I think is coming. Trump gonna stack the Federal Reserve FOMC committee. He's gonna have his own guy in there to be the chairman by May of next year. And I think Trump wants interest rates to at least come down another 200 basis points. So right now, today, you're at a what, 3.75, I think? I think we're at a 3.75 right now, Fed funds rate. So if Fed cut rates today by 25 basis points, that takes us to a 3.5. They may consider that neutral right now, but not Trump. Trump do not consider that neutral. Trump wants that thing to come down somewhere between 1% and 1.5%. So another 200 to 250 basis points. And I believe if he can, and I believe he can, see what the guy done in the first 11 months of his term. You see what he's done. I believe he can. If he gets rates down anywhere between 1% and 1.5% Fed funds rate, what do you think is going to happen to assets? Go back to the pandemic, like I said earlier. Take a look at the pandemic. The time slot is going to be March 2020 through December 2021. Go look at that block of time period, guys, and see what happened to assets. Let's start with real estate. From March 2020 to December 2021, real estate went up by 40 to 50% across the board. This is what happened to real estate prices. Why did that happen? See, anytime you take interest rates to zero, what did I tell y'all earlier? That affects credit cards, student loans, auto loans, mortgages, any type of loan, right? So what happens? Interest rates for a 30-year fixed mortgage went down to 2 to 2.5%. What happens when you bring interest rates down on mortgage payments? The mortgage payment goes down drastically. Why? Because you got a 30-year amortization. So a 30-year amortization on a $400,000 loan at a 5.5% interest rate is much different than a 30-year mortgage on a $400,000 loan at a 2.5% interest rate. You get more purchasing power. You can have the same salary, but two different interest rates. Your salary on a 5.5% interest rate gives you less purchasing power. Your salary on a 2.5% interest rate gives you more purchasing power. So that's what happened. Rates go down, assets go up. Let's go to supply versus demand. Pretty elementary stuff, guys, but I'm gonna walk you through it. See, in this world, this is how it works. When I have more demand than I have supply, prices go up. When I have less demand and more supply, prices go down. So what happens? March 2020, interest rates go to zero. It stimulates what? Demand. People say, well, goodness gracious, now I can go out and get my dream home. A year ago, I couldn't. Now interest rates have come drastically down. I can go get my dream home because I can qualify for more of a monthly payment. And people didn't stop there. They went overboard. Instead of them getting a modest home that they could afford, what do? They go get the big boy. They go get the big boy because they could afford it. They go get the big boy. So a lot of people rushed out to buy houses. We didn't have enough supply though, guys, to accommodate all of these new buyers. We didn't have enough supply. So it pushed prices through the roof for the remaining supply with all of this extra demand. That's what happened. What happened to the stock market? What happened to paper assets? Again, guys, I'm no expert, but I'm just giving you my little First Amendment right, freedom of speech, my personal opinion. Here's what happened. Same thing, supply versus demand. Not only do we take interest rates to zero, so guess what people do? People that already have homes, guess what they did? They went and tapped the equity line. They went and got them some equity line. Why? Because their value of their house went up because of demand. So if I got 5 houses in my neighborhood, same as my house, all of them see a drastic increase in price, sale price. Guess what my house do? It goes up in value too. If I got more equity in my house, guess what I might do? I might want to go tap some of that equity. So now people go get these equity lines. Why? Because they can get them at prime plus 0. They can get them at prime plus 1, prime plus 0. If the Fed funds rate is 0, then what's the prime rate? 3%, because it's always 3% higher than the Fed funds rate. So if I can go to my bank now and tap $150,000, $200,000 equity line at a 3% interest rate, which is a nothing burger, and I can take that 200 grand and put it in what? Big boy blue chips. I don't know. Do you think somebody might have did that? I think so. And guess what? When people do that, guess what happens? They go borrow that money cheap and they put it in other assets. One of them could be paper assets. But what does that do to paper assets? More demand, not enough supply. What happens to a stock price when that happens? Goes up. So the people that took advantage and put themselves in position during that period between March 2020 and December 2021 made out like fat cats. They got wealthy. Your boy participated. I did exactly what I told you. That's what I did. I took all my financial resources, equity lines, dry powder on the sideline, you name it, and double down. Again, guys, freedom of speech, just my example. I'm not telling you need to double down on nothing. Guess what? You can continue doing what you're doing right now, and you're going to continue getting the same results you've been getting. That's all I'm telling you. Now, you can get in position or don't get in position. That's up to you. I did my part. My part is to come on here every day and give you information. Not that it's fact, not that I'm an expert, not that I know what I'm doing. It's just information. Constitutional right, First Amendment right, freedom of speech, personal opinion. Now, what you do with that is on you. I did my job. Last thing I'm gonna do before I get out of here is give y'all another little opportunity to put some sunshine in your life. I'm gonna give y'all another opportunity right now to put a little bit of sunshine in your life. Now, whether you want that sunshine or not, maybe you want to stay in the rain. Maybe you want to stay in the snow. Maybe you want to stay in foggy conditions. I don't know. But anybody that wants some sunshine in their life, some real nice old South Florida, Miami Beach sunshine, let me give it to you. Good folks at Moo. First link down in the description box is giving out some old South Florida, Miami sunshine. I'm talking about in the good days sunshine. I'm talking about in the summertime with no rain, but just beautiful skies and a beautiful beach. I'm giving you a little sunshine from the good folks at Moo. First link down in the description box. Moo is offering up to $1,100 in cash/stock rewards if you make a qualifying deposit into your new Moo brokerage account. That's the sunshine. Now, if you want sunshine, click on that first link and figure out how to get you some more sunshine. If you don't want no sunshine, don't click on it. That's all. Keep moving. That's up to you. Personally, I want sunshine. So here's the deal. First $1,000 you put into your Moo brokerage account, limited time offer now. First $1,000 you put into your brokerage account, they're going to give you $120 in cash reward. If you want the NVIDIA stock shares, you got to put additional dollars in there to get up to $1,000 in NVIDIA stock shares. Most valuable company in the world by market cap. Almost a $5 trillion market cap. Go do your research. Just go look them up. I ain't got to tell you nothing else. Go look them up. Go look them up. So that's the first offer. Second offer in the link down there is the second link, which is the Wealth Builders Financial Community on Patreon. That's my community I started in 2024. And all we do in that community is talk about ways to build wealth. We talking about this. We talked about it on Monday because we have a live stream every single Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm on that live stream and I'm filling them up with all the information I can fill them up with. And again, no expert here, just a guy that goes do homework. See, I got all day to do homework because I control 100% of my time. I don't work for nobody. I work for me. See, so I can sit here all day and do everything I need to do to try to get an edge. And I share that edge on the Wealth Builders Financial Community. No expert at all. Made a lot of mistakes, but I've learned from a lot of those mistakes. So I'm able to pass that on to my wealth builders. So if you're interested in joining a great community of people, a couple thousand of us, plus every day we have a community chat. It's running right now where people are in there dropping nuggets, best practices, what's working, what's not working. And we just provide a safe haven for people to share ideas, use their First Amendment right, freedom of speech, their own opinion. We do that. And a lot of us benefit from that. So if you think that's something that you want to try out, click on that second link. It's going to take you to Patreon. Sign up. Come join us. We'd love to have you. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. Share the video. Smash the like button. Thoughts become things. You can see it in your mind. You can hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy. Get wealthy. Catch you guys on the next one. Let's go to the moon. Peace.